Hey, I want to address a question that came up recently when I was trying to describe the Return to Serenity Island, what it is and what it isn't, to someone who doesn't know anything about it, and to try and piece together my thoughts after speaking with a bunch of people who do know a lot about it and have been through it, but have very different ways of talking about it and describing what it is and what they got out of it. And I realized once again, from my perspective, I've kind of struggled to describe this thing because I'm very familiar with it and I haven't taken the time to kind of step back and get a broader perspective that is required when communicating to people who have no frame of reference for it to begin with. I don't know about you, but this kind of thing happens quite a lot to me. In part, I think because I fixate on maybe a certain element of the project or of the thing that I'm doing, especially if I'm really excited about that, or it feels like maybe just in that moment, this is the most important aspect of it. But also because ideas often evolve, they become wider and deeper and more expansive as they go. And they sort of drift away from that starting point or the awareness of the starting point. And it's really difficult to remember to describe what they are at their core. How would I describe it in its most simple terms when I strip it back to its bare essentials? Because once my creative process gets involved, things evolve, things expand, things grow. And yeah, I'm like, I'm somewhere completely different by the time I'm trying to articulate it to other people. So that's what I'm going to try and do here. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a course. Well, not really. It's not a course. I don't know how you describe it really. Uh, I guess, I mean, really just sign up and see for yourself. No, I'm not going to do that. I mean, what is it? Sounds like you're trying to sell me a whole load of what? Nothing. Okay, so actually, yeah, it is a course. At its roots, in its heart, the Return to Serenity Island is very much a course. However, I guess it's the kind of byproduct effects of going through it that make it more than a course to people who have been describing it to me. The Return to Serenity Island is a course in that it contains a central idea, a central premise, and the components of that can be articulated and packaged when I remember to do so. At its core, it's an alternative goal setting process for people who are interested in personal and professional development, but struggle with the idea or the practical application of goal setting for a whole range of reasons. You're going to end up by going through the Return to Serenity Island with a set of outcomes that you can articulate and describe, things that you're excited about working towards. You'll have a map that represents all kinds of aspects of who you are and the shifts that you want to see and that you desire around your life, and the actions that you are going to take in service of those meaningful changes, as well as the characteristics of different terrains that are going to help and hinder you along the way. So it's imagining all of those things upon a map, a physical, tangible map that you will have created that will represent your own Serenity Island, the vision you have of your life and all of those different parts of it that you'll have at the end. It's a course because I lay out an intentionally structured pathway along 6 steps, 6 modules or parts, episodes, chapters, however you want to put it. And these help us do that in quite a methodical way. But it's more than a course. It became more than a course with the, as it started to add the sort of creativity and sensory play stuff that came to life as I was developing the course in the first place. When I started composing the music and recording the narrative stories that fit with these soundscapes that really travel along with the course materials and bring them to life in kind of metaphorical and imaginative ways, it became more of an invitation to allow us to slow down and to allow all of the materials to germinate and move around in various ways through the senses, and through a more immersive experience of the ideas that we explore. So yes, it's a course, but there I think is a limitation in language. The word course might mean something to you in particular when you think about it. It might conjure an image in your mind. I was looking for synonyms of the word that might kind of help to just bring more out of it and help us describe the Return to Serenity Island is, as well as a course. And words like trail, conduit, passage, tracks, unfolding and unfolding. I really like that. String. Not entirely sure why string was a synonym, of course. Route, byway. All of these things came out. It's an unfolding. It's an emerging. It's an adventure from the inside out. Finding our way to doing from being. Finding our way to the things that we want to do with and around and through our lives, but starting from a place of who we are, the core of our being, as we kind of explore that stuff. That's kind of the trajectory of the whole thing. We start with the ground of being. What matters to you? How do you naturally sense and feel and think about things? We then consider the ground of reality, how the story of your life so far fits that ground of being and the elements of who you are, what matters to you, your values, your beliefs, and the way that reality has kind of matched that stuff and worked in partnership with it, and ways there has been maybe conflict between those things. We then move into the ground of possibilities and potentials, inviting the imagination to share what it would love to do, where it would love to go, the story it would love to write about your life in the next chapter. And then we end up in the ground of action, where the map shows you where to go, what to do, how to respond to unforeseen setbacks as they inevitably will emerge. The positive direction that you want to be moving in relation to the things that matter to you, the things you've identified as important changes you want to make in and around your life, and how to embrace and enjoy the changes in direction that will come as the adventure unfolds and evolves, and things that you couldn't possibly imagine from where you are sat here start to come into view. These new different opportunities and pathways, actually meeting them with a sense of further possibility. The ground of change is how we hold, how we consider, how we respond to the invitations to shift our expectations beyond the paradigm of success and failure when it comes to hitting those outcomes or not that we've kind of identified that we want to move towards at the outset. Goals are only useful when they help us move in a meaningful direction. Beyond that, they become potentially prison walls that block out the sun. They stop us from being able to see and to explore what is just the other side of them, the things that are actually more meaningful than the goal itself. And we can become tethered to those things. So that final part is about changing our relationship with the idea of goals altogether, and holding them more lightly and holding them as parts of the map, but not the be-all and end-all, especially of our sense of worth and value as human beings. And that is what this course aims to allow for. It's a conduit to accidental creativity and play and imagination as we consider those concrete changes that we want to build life around and that we want to see around our lives. With a firm back and a soft front, it gently guides us home to the creative voice inside us that is given the scaffolding that the course presents, the scaffolding for the creative voice to speak through. So yes, I hope that kind of clears some of that question up a little bit. If any of this resonates and speaks to something inside of you, then I reckon you'll love the course. You'll love the experience that flows through and flows out of the course as well. any further questions, let me know. I'll try to answer them in other videos like this one before the doors close for our next voyage back to the island. But yes, pop them, leave a comment or drop me a message, and I'll respond to that.